Hey, Brookview Tigers. Hope everyone's having a great week. Welcome back to the library. I hope you enjoyed our story last week, Lily's Purple Plastic Purse. And we are going to continue talking about stories, fiction stories, stories that are made up, and what makes a story a story. So we talked about the characters in a book. Now, the character in a story is the person or the animal that is throughout the entire story. It's the people that star in the story. And the main character is the person or the animal that is throughout the whole story, really who the story is about. So in our book of the month, the characters were the animals and the librarian. In Lily's Purple Plastic Purse, the main character was Lily. Of course, her classmates, her teacher, her parents were also all characters. We're going to continue talking about what makes a story a story. Today, we're going to be talking about the setting of a story. Now, the setting of a story is where and when a story takes place. So, back to Wild About Books. The setting where the story takes place is in a zoo. That's where all the animals are. That's where the whole story takes place. It's not in outer space. It's not at the beach. It's not in school. The story setting is inside of the zoo. Last week, Lily's Purple Plastic Purse, this story setting where it takes place is mostly at Lily's school. It's not, again, at the beach. It is not at a farm. It is not in the zoo. The setting takes place mostly at Lily's school. Now, there is one part where Lily's at home, but for the most part, the setting is at Lily's school. So, I have a story I want to share with you today, and we're going to talk about both of those elements of the story. The characters, the main character in particular, and the setting of the story. So this story for today is called Ira Sleeps Over. The author is Bernard Waber. The author is the person that writes the words. In this book, Bernard Waber is also the illustrator, so he drew all the pictures. So he did two jobs on the book. He wrote the words and he drew and colored the picture. So this story is about a little boy named Ira having a sleepover. So I know right away that Ira is going to be our main character. First of all, it's named after Ira and he's on the cover. Now, they wouldn't name a book and have the character on the cover if that wasn't going to be the character throughout the book. So right away, I know that our main character is Ira and he's going to be the star of our book. So let's take a listen to Ira Sleeps Over. Now, as you're listening, I want you to think about where the setting is, where it takes place, but not only where it takes place, but when does it take place? So those are two things. Both of those have to do with the setting. So let's take a listen to Ira Sleeps Over by Bernard Waber. I was invited to sleep at Reggie's house. I was happy. I had never slept at a friend's house before. But I had a problem, and it began when my sister said, "Are you taking your teddy bear along?" "Taking my teddy bear along," I said, "to my friend's house? Are you kidding? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Of course I'm not taking my teddy bear over." And then she said this, "But you never slept without your teddy bear before. How will you feel sleeping without your teddy bear for the very first time?" "Well, I will feel just fine. I will feel great. I will probably love sleeping without my teddy bear. I just won't worry about it," I said. "Who's worried?" she said. But now she had me thinking about it. Now she really had me thinking about it. I began to wonder, suppose I won't like sleeping without my teddy bear. Suppose I just hate sleeping without my teddy bear. Should I take him? Take him, said my mother. Take him, said my father. But Reggie will laugh at me, I said. He'll say I'm a baby. He won't laugh, said my mother. He won't laugh, said my father. He'll laugh, said my sister. I decided not to take my teddy bear. How he's feeling. How do you think he's feeling here? Do you think he's happy about his decision? Look at his face. I don't think he's very happy. That afternoon, I played with Reggie. Reggie had plans, big plans. Tonight, he said, when you come to my house, we're going to have fun, fun, fun. First, I'll show you my junk collection. After that, we'll have a wrestling match. After that, we'll have a pillow fight. And after that, we'll do magic tricks. And after that, we'll play checkers. And after that, we'll play dominoes. And after that, we can fool around with my magnifying glass. Great, I said. I can hardly wait. By the way, I asked, what do you think of teddy bears? But Reggie just went on talking and planning as if he'd never heard of teddy bears. And after that, he said, do you know what we can do after that? I mean, when the lights are out and the house is dark, guess what we can do? What? I asked. We can tell ghost stories. What? I asked. Ghost stories? Yeah, ghost stories, said Reggie. Scary, creepy, spooky ghost stories. I began to think about my teddy bear. Does your house get very dark? I asked. Uh-huh, said Reggie. Very, very dark? Uh-huh, said Reggie. Oh, by the way, I said again, what do you think of teddy bears? Suddenly, Reggie was in such a big hurry to go someplace. See you tonight, he said. See ya, I said. I decided I'm going to take my teddy bear. Good, said my mother. Good, said my father. But my sister said, what if Reggie wants to know your teddy bear's name? What do you think about that? And did you think about how he will laugh when you say Tata? And it's a silly baby name, even for a teddy bear? He's not going to ask me that, I said. Oh, he'll ask, she said. I decided not to take my teddy bear. Now look at his face. How do you think he's feeling now? He's probably pretty upset, pretty mad, it looks like. At last, it was time to go off to Reggie's house. Good night, said my mother. Good night, said my father. Sleep tight, said my sister. So I went next door where Reggie lives. Take a look. See the picture? Notice it's a little bit darker. That's because it's nighttime now. That's what Bernard Waber did with the picture. He wanted you to know that it's dark when Reggie was going over to his friend's house. That night, Reggie showed me his junk. He showed me his flashlight, his collection of bottle caps, a chain made from chewing gum wrappers. He showed me some picture postcards. He showed me an egg timer. He showed me jumbo goggles and a false nose and mustache and a bunch of old rubber stamps and labels from his father's office. we decided to play office with the rubber stamp and stamped everything. Look at them having a good time together at their sleepover. After that, we had a wrestling match. And after that, we had our pillow fight. So much fun. And after that, Reggie's father said, bedtime. Already, said Reggie. Already, said his father. So we got into bed. Good night, said Reggie's father. Good night, we said. Reggie sighed. I sighed. We can still tell ghost stories, said Reggie. Do you know any? I asked. Uh-huh, said Reggie. So Reggie began to tell a ghost story. He started. Once there was this ghost, and he lived in a haunted house, only he did most of the haunting himself. Now this house was empty except for the ghost, because nobody wanted to go near the house. They were so afraid of this ghost. And every night this ghost would walk around this house and make all kinds of clunky, creepy noises. A shrump, just like that. And then he would go around looking for people to scare, because that's what he liked to do most of all, was to scare people. And he was very scary to look at. Oh, he was so scary to look at. Reggie stopped. Are you scared? He asked. Uh-huh, I said. Are you? What? Said Reggie. Are you scared? Just a minute, said Reggie. I have to go get something. What do you have to go get? I asked. Something, said Reggie. And Reggie pulled out that something out of a drawer. The room was so dark, I could see that it had fuzzy arms and legs, and it was about the size of a teddy bear. I looked again. It was a teddy bear. Reggie got back into his bed. Now about this ghost, he said. Is that your teddy bear? I asked. What? Said Reggie. Is that your teddy bear? Oh, you mean this teddy bear? Yeah, the one you're holding, I asked. Uh-huh, Reggie answered. Do you sleep with him all the time? What? Said Reggie. Do you sleep with him all of the time? Uh-huh. Does your teddy bear have a name? What? Does your teddy bear have a name? I said louder. Uh-huh, said Reggie. What is it? You won't laugh? Said Reggie. No, I won't laugh, I said. Promise? I promise. Okay. His name is Foo-Foo. Did you say Foo-Foo? Uh-huh, said Reggie. Just a minute, I said. I have to go get something. What do you have to go get? Reggie asked. Something, I answered. What do you think he's going to get? The next minute, I was ringing my own doorbell. It opened. Ira, everyone said, what are you doing here? I changed my mind. You what? Said my mother. You what? Said my father. You what? Said my sister. She was still up. I changed my mind, I said. I decided I want to take Tata after all. So I went upstairs. He's got his pajamas on. And soon I came down again with my bear Tata. And my sister said, Reggie's gonna laugh at you. You'll see how he'll laugh. He'll just go on and fall down laughing. He won't laugh, said his mother. He won't laugh, said my father. He won't laugh, I said. There he is with his bear Tata. So I came back to Reggie's room, I have a teddy bear too, I said. Do you want to know his name? I waited for Reggie to say, uh-huh. But Reggie didn't say uh-huh this time. Reggie didn't say anything. I looked at Reggie. He was fast asleep. Just like that. He'd fallen asleep. Reggie, wake up, I said. You have to finish telling the ghost story. But Reggie just held his teddy bear closer and went right on sleeping. And after that, well, there wasn't anything to do after that. Good night, I whispered to Tata, and I fell asleep. The end. So, have you ever had a sleepover? Has somebody ever come to your house to sleep over? Well, this was Ira's first sleepover. And of course, he was worried about taking his bear Tata with him. So, the story was about Ira. He was the main character. But I want to talk a minute about the setting. Where did the story take place mostly? What do you think? Mostly, it takes place at Reggie's house. And when does it take place? Most of the story takes place at night when the two boys are having their sleepover. So the setting for Ira Sleeps Over is at Reggie's house for their sleepover. And when it takes place is at night during their sleepover. So my question for you is, have you ever had a sleepover? If you have, I want you to tell me about it. Or if you are planning a sleepover, what are some of the things that you would do? Would you take your teddy bear? Would you have your friends bring their teddy bears if they were coming to your house? What kind of games would you play? What kind of snacks would you eat? What are some of the things that you would do at a sleepover? So, what I want you to do today is I want you to draw a picture of a sleepover you would like to have. In the picture, I want you to show what some of the things that you might bring, or maybe an activity that you might do during your sleepover. So I can't wait to see all of your ideas about having a sleepover and some of the details, and I can't wait to see the setting of your sleepover. Where will you guys be? Will it be in your bedroom? Are you going to camp out in your living room and watch TV all night? So I want to see all those details in your picture. Where does it take place? Is it at your house in the living room? Is it at your friend's house in their bedroom? And I also want to see what are some of the things that you would do during your sleepover. Maybe some of the snacks, some of the games. What are some of the things that you will plan like Reggie and Ira did during their sleepover? So I hope you enjoyed our story by Bernard Waber. I will share with you some other stories by Bernard Waber. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see your ideas of a sleepover and what you're going to do. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye, Brookview Tigers.